Hi, it's Veronica, the heart dietitian. Today we're answering a viewer's question he had submitted on one of my past videos. And what he asked was, Veronica, how do you gain muscle mass while still lowering your cholesterol? So that's what I wanted to dive in today to help him and others understand that it is possible to increase your muscle mass while lowering your cholesterol. But first, for those of you who I don't know, I'm Veronica, the heart dietitian. I have an evidence-based resource, my blog, theheartdietitian.com, where I upload weekly blog posts. And here I upload weekly YouTube videos to help clarify some of that misinformation out there on the web and help you eat a heart-healthy diet that can help you lower your cholesterol, lower your blood pressure, lower your inflammation, and ultimately reduce your risk of a heart attack or stroke. So let's get into that question. In order to gain muscle mass, we need to eat a certain amount of protein. Now, there's a variety of different proteins out there, and what I like to classify them into is plant-based proteins and animal-based proteins. So let's start with the animal-based proteins. Typically, when I am counseling individuals, either in a group setting or one-on-one, individuals are aware that if they're trying to lower their cholesterol, they shouldn't be eating fatty animal meat. And that's true. The fat that's found in animal meat is called saturated fat. And that's, the marbling of the meat, anything that's solid at room temperature. So not only the marbling of the meat, but butter would be another example of this saturated fat. And we know that too much saturated fat can increase our cholesterol levels. So when we're looking at protein, we want to limit our fatty animal meat. So I think that is common knowledge, which is great. But what I think is the gap is that there are other protein sources. There's the plant-based protein, and then there's also leaner cuts of animal meat that can be incorporated into a heart-healthy diet that are low in saturated fat. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is incorporating more of these plant-based proteins and low saturated fat meat in order to meet your protein needs to gain muscle mass. Not only will eating enough protein help us build muscle mass, but it can also help with weight management. Eating protein helps us reduce our hunger and keeps us feeling full longer. So if you're dealing with cravings throughout the day, or you feel that stomach hunger a lot, then maybe you need to look at how much protein you're having throughout the day. Now, how much protein you need is individual, and that's something that I could work with you one-on-one to figure out how much protein you need. Unfortunately, there's just not a blanket statement that I could give, but the other important thing you need to consider when eating protein is that it needs to be spread out throughout the day. Oftentimes in North America, we're eating most of our protein in the evening at our dinner meal, and not enough protein at our breakfast and lunch. So spreading this out throughout the day can be helpful for our body to use the protein or the amino acids in the protein foods to help build our muscle and help with weight management. The other thing you'd want to consider is if you are doing resistance training exercise, you want to be consuming protein within an hour or two after your exercise to help optimize that muscle development. So now we know why we need protein, when to eat it at each meal, and now what type of protein to eat for heart health. Well, we know that fatty animal meat is not something that we recommend because it's too high in saturated fat. The American Heart Association recommends that we limit our saturated fat intake for the day. So we have a budget. That means you can have some saturated fat, but we don't want too much saturated fat. And if we're going to be eating animal protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you'll likely go over that budget. So what are some other proteins that you can consume? You can choose those lean cuts of animal protein like chicken breast, for example, or what I encourage more is to start incorporating this plant-based protein. And that's because there's a diet called the portfolio diet. And if you don't know about that, I'll link a video here about the portfolio diet. I've actually written a cookbook on portfolio diet recipes. It has great evidence that following this way of eating can lower your cholesterol levels. And one of the 4 key messages in that diet is eating enough plant protein every day. So Consuming most of your protein for the day as plant protein can help you reduce your cholesterol and increase your muscle mass. So what are these plant-based proteins? Well, tofu is an excellent source. It has about 16 grams of protein per half of package. I love marinating my tofu like I would any meat. So you could do like a oil and balsamic vinegar with some herbs, and then it becomes a nice sandwich filler for lunch. Another recipe I love using tofu for is a tofu scramble in the morning. So instead of egg scramble, a tofu scramble would be something to try. Tempeh has a similar amount of protein at 16 grams per half a cup. It's a soy-based protein as well. What I love to do with this is crumble it up like ground beef and throw it into my meat sauce for spaghetti. Edamame is a fantastic snack. It is a soybean, and about half a cup has 12 grams of protein. So not only could you use it as a snack, it's easy to steam in the microwave and add maybe some everything bagel spice to it for some flavor. But I also like adding it to my salads. And in fact, I have a really great edamame pasta sauce as well that I'll link up here. Some seeds are a really great source of protein. Pumpkin seeds come to mind because about a quarter of a cup has 11 grams of protein. Hemp seeds are another type of seed that's rich in protein. About 3 tablespoons have 9 grams of protein. And this seed is also rich in omega-3 fatty acids. I think pumpkin seeds or hemp seeds are a great addition to your oatmeal or cereal in the morning, or perhaps pairing it. Nuts are also a great source of protein. About a quarter of a cup of almonds has 8 grams of protein. This can be an excellent snack if you pair it with a piece of fruit, very well balanced. Or I love carrying around my almonds and some dried fruit in a little Ziploc bag, or an easy trail mix that I can just keep in my purse or in my car that's kind of shelf stable and won't expire on me. Beans and legumes are also a great source of plant-based protein. Lentils, for example, have 9 grams of protein in half a cup, but black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans are similar, around 7 grams per half a cup. Other ways to add plant-based protein is through peanut butter. About 2 tablespoons of peanut butter has 7 grams of protein. And another easy way to add protein to any meal or snack is with a cup of soy beverage, because 1 cup of soy beverage has about 7 grams of protein. And it's one of the only plant-based beverages that has protein. Things like almond milk and oat milk don't necessarily have the protein in it. And then grain products also have protein. So something like bread could have 8 to 10 grams of protein per 2 slices. So something like whole grain bread could have 8 to 10 grams of protein per 2 slices. Quinoa is also a grain product that is rich in protein. It has about 8 grams of protein per cup, and spelt has about 11 grams of protein per cup. So lots of different options to play around with in order for you to make sure that you're getting enough protein to help you build the muscle mass while also lowering your cholesterol levels. So I really hope this answered your question, that it is possible to increase your muscle mass while lowering your cholesterol. If you have other questions, drop them below in my comments. I read every single one, and I love to make a video answering your question. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll see you next week.